What's up, Den of Geek fans? This is Chris Longo here. We are at South by Southwest 2024 in the Den of Geek studio, and we have Muta'Ali, the director of MoviePass MovieCrash, Stacy Spikes, the co-founder of MoviePass, and Hamet, the co-founder of MoviePass as well. Thank you guys so much for taking some time today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
What was the reception like last night? You had their big premiere for the film. Tell us a little bit about it.
I was thrilled. It was great. It was a wonderful premiere. Really excited to be at South by Southwest. I think it's the most fitting place to debut MoviePass MovieCrash. I had a great time. How about y'all?
It was great. The audience loved it. It was hilarious. I was really shocked to see how they just were laughing at exactly the right parts, and it was really funny. It was a great doc.
It was fun. It was crazy. It had twists and turns. It was kind of like a therapy session for us. We enjoyed it.
So we're at a film festival, so I want to take it all the way back to the beginning. Tell me a little bit about your kind of first love for the theatrical experience and what kind of set the three of you on this path that we are today.
Yeah, I mean, I know for me when I was 12, it was seeing Blade Runner, and that was it. It was seeing Ridley Scott create that world, and that just made me say, I got to be in this business, whatever it is, whatever capacity, and it's never left.
The story for me is just really about innovation and just seeing an opportunity to innovate in a space that hadn't had much of it, which is the movie-going space. Stacy and I always joked about they're going to make a movie about this journey at some point, not knowing that it would actually happen.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but there were lots of twists and turns.
That's cool.
That's awesome. How about for you?
Oh, man, Transformers. I was about 4 years old, and Transformers, the movie, came out. It was cartoon version before, like, the Michael Bay version. And I was so moved by it. I left the theater, and I was with my father, and I started crying. And he was like, "Why are you crying, man?" And I was like, I was so immersed. I was like, I want the Transformers to be real. I want them to be real. And I was just so moved by the story. I mean, it was like Orson Welles doing voice in there. It was like really well done. But my father said, "Oh, maybe you want to be an engineer because you can make robots and stuff like that." And so he geared me toward engineering. So I also felt filmmaking in my heart from then too, because I come from a family of storytellers also. And so since a very young age, ever since that movie, I wanted to make things real that aren't real. And so, we made this documentary out of a story that is real, but we packed it into 90 minutes. And then, so that's the unreal thing. And you get to go on this emotional journey. It may not make you cry, but it's made some people cry, and it'll make you laugh too, because I think what Stacy and Hamet had created and gone through is really, really unexpected and thrilling and inspiring. And so that's why I'm proud to be here. But you're still, yeah. I love movies.
We got some geeks on the couch here, so I'm loving it already.
I guess I'm a geek too, yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about the storytelling aspects here, because I think a lot of people understood MoviePass from a lot of the media attention that was getting around the time of 2018, 2017. So I want to know for you, Muta, what threads of this story, as you started to do some of your research and talking to these gentlemen over here, kind of came together for you in terms of the narrative you wanted to tell with this? Because there's the media attention and then there's the story behind the story. What aspects of it were really important for you to kind of get out there?
To be honest, a catch-22, because to me, I've described you both as unicorns. But as two black men who have accomplished so much in the VC space and as inventors and entrepreneurs, but there is a whole history of black people who have done phenomenal things in America, who kind of go under the radar. So what I was surprised by, though, was that this was created by two brothers. And that drew me into a whole reality of the situation. Oh, wow, I can tell a story that honors what they've accomplished, honors what they've overcome, and also highlights the fact that there are brothers and sisters out there doing things that you may not expect, so.
Absolutely, with some of the things that you guys have overcome and kind of getting, particularly for you, Stacy, bringing MoviePass back from where it was. Tell, for audiences that maybe don't know some of the backstory behind MoviePass, tell us a little bit about your journey with that company.
Yeah, so similar to what Hamet was talking about, when we got together, it was about this is a space that really could benefit from a lot of innovation. There was just so many places that there was opportunity. And our first conversation was 2 hours long, where we were finishing each other's sentences, and there was just this bond and kinship about passion for the space, but let's change this. And from that, we just started on this journey. We built it up. Literally, the first version we did got knocked down. The whole. We were like born on a Thursday and died on a Friday, like B1. And then, but this persistence that we knew this is a space worth fighting for. And then we created another version, and we started doing patents and technology. And then, as Muta'Ali said, things kind of got hijacked a little bit. But it's been really amazing to be able to bring it back. And I have to say it's because of the fans and they're wanting it and wanting something like it and seeing how many people copied it. You knew you were building something that was innovative, that changed the game. So,
yeah. This is a story of resilience. My co-founder here is one of the most resilient people in the world, so it makes sense that he's bought it back and he's going to make it work. He already is making it work. But I think the first time we got shut down, we were freaked out. The second time we got shut down, we were still freaked out. But the third time, we were like, well, we kind of came back before. Like, we'll figure this out, too. And I think that's kind of why I like the movie, that Muta'Ali put the story together in such a way that hopefully it transcends even the story of MoviePass and starts to talk about resilience and just coming back from stuff. Because that's what life is about.
Is that what you hope audiences take away from it, that there's this resiliency to your story and more of like aspirational aspect to what went on with MoviePass?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a powerful American story about innovation where you've seen founders sometimes forced out of their companies, but they come back and they make it bigger, better, and stronger than it had ever been before. And Muta'Ali does such a good job of staying on target of that bigger picture, because it could have gotten lost in other things, but he really harnesses it in such a powerful way. When Hamet and I first heard about this project, we were concerned because we didn't know if this could be in the right hands to tell the story and keep it in the balance that it needed, and Muta'Ali does an amazing job of that.
Thank you so much, Stacy. I appreciate it. Thank you both. I do want to reiterate, though, MoviePass MovieCrash will take you on a roller coaster. My demeanor is really like kind of serious. Like, it's okay. It's just, and I'm talking about race issues and stuff like that. But that's just kind of maybe an undercurrent. Overall, this story is about a crime. In my opinion, it's about a crime, and it's funny. It will answer a lot of questions. If you're a MoviePass subscriber, which there have been over 3 million of them, it'll answer a lot of questions about what may or may not have been happening with your service over the years. It'll answer a lot of questions about, why did these guys keep the price at $9.95 a month? And it'll show you even more. I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube of people describing the MoviePass story, and there's so much more to that story. And this will answer a lot of your questions and make you laugh. And I encourage everyone to check it out.
I'm just curious, like, as a filmmaker, and you're looking for new projects to work on, like, how are you, like, when something like this movie and these gentlemen's stories comes across your desk, how do you start to think about where do I want to take my discography as a director? Like, where do I want to take my career? How does it kind of fit into that palette? So what do you look for when you start to have a conversation with people like this and start to get really inspired by their story?
I mean, I'm always trying to get a check, so getting paid is good.
Doesn't hurt.
And I'm trying to brand myself as a storyteller who people can trust. If you hand me a story, I'm going to deliver something that can handle complex issues in a nuanced way, and so this was an opportunity to do that. And also, I come from a culture where addressing issues related to African Americans' history and their triumphs is embedded in my sort of psyche. So I have this thought that if I'm able to do that as an adult, I'm succeeding, good or bad. That's just kind of like my wiring. So this was an opportunity to do something there. And I had a chance to do another project with my producing partner, Javon Frank, and to work with Unrealistic Ideas, Mark Wahlberg and Archie and Lev's company, and work with great people like David Wendell. And this is coming out through HBO, who I have a relationship with. I love doing projects with HBO. So all of that combined, it was like a no-brainer. And plus, MoviePass comes with an embedded audience. If you haven't heard of MoviePass, you're like, you've been living under a rock, And so yeah, there's no reason to say no to do something like this. So
since this is a very entrepreneurial festival, and there's obviously the tech side of it kind of converging with film, what advice would you guys have for young Black entrepreneurs kind of coming up in this industry and wanting to learn more from folks like yourself?
What was amazing was we were featured in South by Southwest as in the 15 Disrupt. They used to have this section, and we were here, and we were included in the exact same category that Twitter was when it launched. And so of all the submissions, we were chosen. And so we actually really got our footing at this festival. And so we did a presentation, and they only allow 15 companies a year that they said these are going to change the categories. And so, it's pretty wild that they said I think there's 500, 600, 700 submissions every year, and we got chosen. And so coming out of that, I think no matter who you are, if you are a creator who's trying to make things, and Hamet reinforces, there's an endurance to this and a perseverance that you have to have. Whether you're a woman, whether you're a minority, whether you're anybody, you cannot do this without that. And that's the ingredient that Muta'Ali captures, that persistence against obstacles that look completely impossible. So I think that's the overall takeaway.
Sure. How about for you, Hamet?
I think that's really well said. I was trying to remember whether I'd ever been to the South by Southwest film part, because we've always been much more active in the tech piece. And I think we're living in an age now where there's so much possibility. My message to any entrepreneur, no matter where they're coming from, is, believe in yourself, be aggressive, and then be persistent and resilient, because life has this funny way of taking you down these paths that you didn't think you'd have to go. So you have to be ready for them.
So as someone that was both covering MoviePass at the time around 2018, writing stories about it, but also using it and getting to understand where the audience demand was for that, as someone covering the entertainment industry, and hopefully as a New Yorker, living very close to a movie theater, contributing to maybe the financial challenges a little bit for MoviePass. Tell us a little bit about kind of your plan to bring it back and what you're hoping, what you're seeing really as you guys are getting a little bit more insight into how audiences are using it and in different ways you guys are looking to both market it and obviously continue to grow the user base.
So it's really remarkable to bring it back, and now there's adoption of subscription. I mean, when Hamet and I started, the idea of subscription was laughed at. Everybody was like, why? That can't happen. So it's good that there's market adoption, so now innovation can happen even more. And coming back post-pandemic, people are much more open to experimenting. They're much more open to new ideas, and so that's made it easier to start. Now, I think also because of MoviePass success, you can get the meeting, right? Before, we couldn't even get in the room. They wouldn't take the call. We get on planes, be outside people's offices, just showing up in their lobbies. But today you can get the meeting, and they will take you seriously because what you said came true. And what you said came true in a very big way, and you played a role in that. So our point is to push the edge and push the envelope and bring the innovation. We've always created new technology in the space, and so it's just being able to do that now with a lot more traction.
Where do you guys see kind of the theatrical experience going? Obviously, we had a pretty big year in the movies the last couple of years, and box office kind of rebounding a little bit post-COVID. But I'm just curious, as people who are obviously working in this industry, and then you as a director making these films, what is the future of movies right now?
I think Stacy should answer that.
I'm a eternal optimist about it. I mean, I think it goes through waves, but cinema's rebounded in such an amazing way. This 2023 had such variety. I mean, everything from, you'd see a movie like Poor Things, there would be Ava DuVernay's film with Origin, what Christopher Nolan did, and he's not using special effects and shooting on film. What, all over the place with Avatar. I mean, the technology is insane. And I think that we're seeing, if we can do change on the other side, on the consumer side, the screen and the storytelling is there. Now we need innovation as far as movie going and to help make it easier. And that was the first conversation we ever had. Let's reduce the friction of going to the movies. Let's make it easier. Let's make it as easy as it is to open up your phone and watch a movie there. Like, make it simple for them. And that's where I think we still have a lot of room to grow and increase the business by making it easier.
That's awesome. And for you as a filmmaker, like, is it exciting for you to see companies continue to kind of push audiences to see a lot more movies? Just frankly, especially in New York where I am, and just to be able to see so many different theaters and so many different options and art house cinema there, and have access to those films that maybe in other parts of the country we don't necessarily have access to. Is it exciting for you to see people with such a passion for the entertainment industry continue to push audiences in these directions?
Well, I don't have a direct answer. I don't have an opinion right now about it. But I used to go and collect my ticket stubs for years, and I loved going to the movies, going by myself, going with everybody. I have fond memories of seeing Christopher Nolan's Batman and everything. Like, they're like little landmarks in my memory of special moments. That's why I asked you guys, like, in the documentary, about like your the movie that kind of made things congeal for you and like set you in a certain path. So I do love theater going. I haven't been to the movies in a long time, but I really enjoyed watching MoviePass MovieCrash last night. And so I think everyone should go and watch it. But I will say proximity is the thing. I brought it up yesterday. I've done documentaries about civil rights related things, and the word proximity came up. It's like you have to be close to an issue to solve it, and sometimes being close to one another as human beings, it really just creates something larger than a collection of individuals. And even when you're having fun. So when you're in a room together watching a screen, there's something that takes place that is above and beyond you watching something at home. Even if you got this surround sound thing, it's just there are other human beings, and you're having a human experience together. And you're watching each other react to the same thing at the same time, and it might comment on the world around you in a way that takes place in one instant, and it's a connection that you have. And you leave the theater, you don't know anybody anymore, but it's like it's something magical about it. So I do feel excited that that's being kept alive. I feel excited about the rebirth of MoviePass also. So yeah,
I'm glad you said that. I don't work in the movie business anymore other than supporting Stacy. I focus on health now and mental health. And I got to tell you, the pandemic did a number on us all, right? If you look at the data now, mental health is the #1 health condition. I think that has something to do with the fact that we're not going out enough. We're not spending time with each other in people's physical presence. There's something about humans that needs to be together. And maybe going to the movies is going to be one of those things that makes that happen, solve some of these problems. I remember we had so many great quotes from moviegoers. There were two really interesting ones. One was, this is back in the day, you might remember this. One was, I forgot how fun it was to go to the movies, right? It was like, okay, I had stopped going to the movies for years. I joined MoviePass, I went, it was dope, and now I go all the time. And we would tell that to all the theaters. Like, if you can't see that this is a way to change behavior, I don't know what you can see. But the other thing was just even couples that found their way back to each other because they would connect and go to the movies, and that became part of their whole routine.
Started dating again.
I mean, we all have big screen TVs and Vision Pros and all these different ways of consuming content, but we might forget that we need to be with each other. And going to the movies is one of the oldest ways to do that. So maybe it helps some of the bigger problems we're dealing with.
This was really a homecoming for you guys in a weird way from South by Southwest.
100%. Yeah, we got our big start here, and this was the first time that an outside organization validated what we were trying to build and said this is important. To be chosen in 15 Disrupt was huge for us. It put us on the map, where at first we were looked at as an up-and-coming ticketing company. When we were featured here, we became a technology company. And we really saw that we were doing engineering and fintech and stuff to be able to change the industry, that we weren't just, movie ticketing. And so the technologies that we built with geolocation and all of the different pieces literally have patents with our name on it that didn't exist. So it was here that made us a technology company, and that's in our DNA.
And is that the moment where, as you guys started to change the way you thought about MoviePass, and then how did you guys look to kind of articulate that to the studios who were kind of set in their ways, and to some extent. The movie business has been around for a long time.
I thought we were always focused on innovating, and so we were always thinking about new technologies to help solve some of the problems that we observe. Now, sometimes the exhibitors and the studios that met us didn't love that we were a technology company. We were outsiders in many ways, and that was one of them. I'm just remembering the whole Stacy did the same thing at South by Southwest in 2015. He leaves early. I stay out late. Sorry, I just had that flashback because I stayed out too late last night.
How late?
And he I don't know what it was.
I mean, you guys had a premiere, like, it's par for the course
here.
here.
Daylight savings time thing, you know what I mean? So yeah, but Stacy was
extra
gone at
hours,
9:30.
totally.
He was back in bed.
We'll talk.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming by. You got to check out MoviePass MovieCrash. Appreciate your time, and thanks for coming by the Den.
Chris, thanks for having us.